Hello, welcome to Module 3. Hope you guys are having a great day. We are going to talk about Module 3, which is planning ahead, needs, and funding. So hopefully you are ready for this. Let's dive in. So first up, I'm going to scroll up. Again, you'll know that this video is going to land right here when it's all said and done. There are 4 objectives for this wonderful module. I'm not going to read those to you because they're sitting there, but I do want to kind of run through the kind of a quick overview of the assignment so you know what's coming up, and then we're going to dive into each one. 1, you've got your internship time card. 2, you've got a funding strategy that you're going to put together. 3, you've got a peer discussion in Yellow Dig. And 4, you have an education studies program outcomes activities. Fun little thing. That's the newest one, and I want to make sure that you guys are on the same page for this one. So for this one right here, we'll point this out again at the end, but for this one, if you're like, ooh, I want more detail, come back to this first page on the slide deck. If you go to page 2, there is a wonderful video right here from Amy Marcos. Scroll the little slide on this, and when it plays to 13 minutes and 35 seconds, and she's going to walk through it. She gives you a 10-minute overview of this particular assignment. So if you need it, it is there for you. We want you to walk through it. We're going to walk you through it too. But if you want like a full detailed piece, know that that's there. You guys ready to dive in? So again, scrolling back up, our readings are right here for the week. So make sure you touch base on those before you dive in because you'll need those as you go into your first piece. So let's hit that next button. Boom. All right. So let's talk about the funding strategy piece. So you want to open the template. And again, it kind of walks you through it. You're going to submit this on your portfolio. You're going to submit the link like you normally do. The rubric's here for you, but let's take a look at this one. So funding strategy activity is right here. There is a secondary document that's also right here that we'll talk about, and it looks like this. But that's your link to look at that one. And to give you kind of an example, but as we walk through this, this is all about how are you going to fund that solution that you've created to your challenge. So really, you're going to start off with brainstorming your expenses and thinking about like everything that's out there. We mean everything. So if it's in kind, like let's say that you're doing like Patrick and I are working on a coding project right now. We're using computers. We're using software. We have interns that are a part of it. We have all these really cool things, but you've got to calculate that in. Calculate your software. Calculate what it's costing for the computers. Calculate all the different pieces. We have pieces that Lego has sent us. So all of those different things need to go into your brainstorming of your expenses. You also want to think about your income sources. Now for us, we're looking at grant funds. We're looking at doing a couple of like fundraisers, like a codathon and some other things. So those would be our income sources that you would want to also think about within this. You also want to think about what is the most promising? So think about how you can raise money. I think for us, the thing that would be most promising would be our codathon, because again, it's kind of that same mindset, that same thought. It's a great way to raise money. Now, as you think about that, you're going to create your project budget. So I'm going to click back over this one so you can see that. So then you start putting this in here. So you start off with like, what are your expenses? So these are just some of the expenses. You can go in and change all of this. You don't need to keep that. You can change it. And then you put your planned, and then you'll actually update this with what your actual is as you continue to go through. And like I said, we were thinking about grants. Instead of a restaurant night, we're doing our codathon. So what was planned and what was actual. And then this thing, as long as you don't change the formulas, it'll actually give you a total right here. So it's all set up and designed for you, ready for you to rock and roll. All right. So then let's jump back. Step 5, filling out your expenses, like I just said. Filling out your income, and then I want you to create your plan. Think about all of these different pieces, solidify your plan, make sure you're meeting with your team to talk about this. Don't plan anything for your organization unless someone else is talking to you about this. It gets really scary when you say, yeah, we're going to go do this, and they're like, no, we can't because our donors and our board won't let us. So think about all of that. You're putting together your plan and how this will work. Does that make sense? Patrick, what you got?
I just think, it's real easy to get kind of wrapped up in what you're doing and not really think about where you're going. And when you sit down to try to parse out how much money you're going to need for things, it's again really easy to say like, well, I haven't needed any money yet, and everything else is taken care of under the internship umbrella. or for the society that I work with, or the board that they take care of all that. Don't think of it in terms of like what has already happened. Think about, what if I were to scale this? What if I were to do this long term, with and involve hundreds of people? What would it look like just to have an employee appreciate, or not even an employee, but like a volunteer appreciation? You're gonna buy pizza for 400 people. That's gonna cost you a lot of money. Yeah, so you got to put that into your budget. Just think through all of those little pieces, because everything costs money. Even all the stuff that you get donated, at some point it's going to come back, and you have to have it accounted for. We're talking line by line budget item here, guys.
Another thing is, think about, like, I know with a lot of the activities we do, we would always buy food, we buy snacks, we buy pizza, or we'll talk to our local pizza place and they'll say, we'll donate. Add that in there. And when you plan it, plan the full amount, not the discounted amount, because you may not get that discount next year. So keep
Right.
that in mind. Relationships are great, but plan it in. It's always better to have more money at the end than what you needed than less than what you needed. So keep that in mind. If you have questions on this, please shoot us a note. We're here to help. This is one of the most critical steps of your whole kind of solution, because if you don't have enough money, your solution cannot be done. So keep
Right.
that
Your
in mind.
solution is not, I don't have a budget. That's not, no.
Nope. Everything
Yeah.
needs money. So
You gotta
tell
have
us
that
how
money.
much money you need. All right. So
Money
if you
makes the
say
world go
0,
round.
we're going to kick it back to you. So save yourself the headache and hassle. Figure it out. Let us know. Plan with your organizations. I know for me, if, my wonderful interns were like, yeah, we're going to do this, and they submitted it, and I would be like, we can't do that. So talk it through. All right, let's go on to the next one. So I'm going to jump back over here. So this is a lot of different information here. So read through it if you have questions. Also check the rubric. That pre-work is really important, but plan through this and plan it out. Talk to your organization, let them plan with you, and brainstorm. All right, next up, Yellow Dig. So in Yellow Dig, you're going to have a conversation. You're going to spend time talking about your needs and your funding. This is a great way to make sure that you're not forgetting anything. So throw out there what you're thinking, but then go back and listen to what your colleagues have said, because this is where, somebody said, we're going to do t-shirts. T-shirts are great, and it's a great fundraiser, but then they went back and they heard about hats. And I love the fact that Patrick did not plan this. He didn't know I was going to say anything about hats, but I will rock a hat every day of the week if I can. And I will spend crazy money on hats. So if you're thinking about fundraisers, t-shirts and hats are awesome ways. And that's another thing that students were talking about. Look at donors or sources. A lot of people have access to some really creative materials that possibly you can, buy things through. Here at where we are, one of the fundraisers, we sell t-shirts. My daughter's on a basketball team. And I found a mom just in talking. She's like, oh yeah, I do a business and I sell t-shirts, hats, all sorts of branded wear, and I give you 20% back. I was like, what? And I thought, and I looked at her prices. Her prices are great. And she's doing some really cool stuff. You send her your logo and she puts it on whatever somebody wants. And you don't have to do anything. Plus you get 20% back. I was like, oh my gosh, that's phenomenal. So this is a great place to start chatting and talking. Patrick, thoughts on this one?
No, with Yellow Dig, I just want to remind everybody that this is your opportunity to engage in civil discourse. It is okay to, yes, we want you to agree with people. Yes, we want you to tell people that their thinking is awesome. But this is also an opportunity for you to get your thinking challenged and to challenge others. If you notice that somebody's way off base, respectfully say, hey, I disagree, and here's why. Provide evidence. Use those readings. Use what we've been teaching you in these courses and say, let's try to get back on track here. You don't get to see each other in person, and you don't get that same experience of being in the classroom with other people. Yellow Dig's your opportunity to really engage in that good discourse. That's why we go to university, is to challenge our own ideas and to engage in those conversations, those rich dialogues that help us develop as good thinkers and critical thinkers. So there's that.
That's really important. I'm glad you brought that up, Patrick, because I know that we have a lot of discussions and a lot of conversations. And again, you guys can use Yellow Dig to start, but you guys all have Zoom accounts too. So Patrick and I were on the phone before this, and I was like, oh, I want to share this with you. I was like, jump on Zoom. And we jumped on Zoom. We were looking at stuff. So you guys can do that as well. Yellow Dig is your starting place. So again, figure it out. Or If you guys are like, we want to see more video, let us know. We can start doing some Flipgrids. Those are a great way to, you can see the person, interact, do video. So let us know. All right, let's go to the next one. Dun, 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 dun. This is your timesheet. Again, fill it out. You get, I think for this one, it's a point, but it's complete or incomplete. So make sure you guys complete that one. And then also make sure you tell us what you're up to. We read this stuff. We want to know what's going on. If we ask you questions, though, I know I asked some people questions last week, don't respond back in the assignment. Send me an email or send me a Slack message, or same for Patrick. We don't go back into the assignment, and there's no way of us knowing if there's a comment in there. So keep
See,
that
assignment's graded. Bye-bye. It's in the rear view.
unless you don't do well and we reassign it. All right, moving on. Next up. So this is the assignment that I was telling you about. This one is a little bit different. I just want to show you a little bit about it and just give you a quick kind of rundown. This is the way when you click on it, it's going to look like this. And really what you're doing is within the Ed Studies program, there are domains that we created. And domains are kind of like our learning structures and the things that you should learn as you walk through the whole program and the whole course and just the whole program itself. So it's broken down into, and if you look at this, it shows you, actually I'm going to jump back again, all these tabs. There are 5 different domains. So if you're wondering what each domain is, as you click over here, you get to see all the different domains. So education and society is the first one. Oops, that's weird. There we go. Education and society. And then as you scroll through active learning, then you identity as an educator, and then you have collaboration and communication. I said that backwards, but you all get the gist. Leadership, advocacy, and innovation. So as you see, there are different domains. Within the domains, there are PLOs, which are your pieces that break down each part of the different domains. So there are program learning outcomes, and for every, I'm going to go back up to Education Society because that's what we're doing this week. So as you look at this, for every course you've taken, there have been PLOs, there have also been domains that you've been a part of. So in this assignment, what you're going to do is you're thinking about education society. So you're going to read through all of this, and then you're going to go in and you're going to think about courses that these things happened in and they show up. So if you're like, whoa, what courses? These are your courses right here. So you should have taken all of these by now. So you're going to think about those courses. You're going to think about 3 courses. You're going to type in the course. You're going to type in the experience. And how does that experience reflect on what you've learned and what you've explored? You're also going to drop into these areas that are white, and you're going to talk about how and to what degree that experience connected with or illustrated the domain and the outcome. So think about that together. So you have 3 different places where you're going to do that. So course 1 was up there, course 2, and then course 3. So again, if you're like, whoa, that was really different, I'm not quite sure what to do there. If you go back into our modules, you scroll down to module 3, you hit this page on that cover. So once you get here, if you're like, I need more information, click here. There's another video. She gives you a 10-minute explanation on that. And that really wraps up our module for this week. So there's questions, if there's comments, we are here for you. We have office hours. Please let us know. Patrick, other thoughts?
Elevate the profession. That's it.
And do something amazing. Have fun with this. Let's change the world. There's a lot of things in our world that we love, but there's a lot of things that we're like, ooh, this is your opportunity to change it. So this is your opportunity to get on the stage, do what you need to do. And with that, we say happy module 3, and we'll see you in module 4.
What else?
See ya.